Okay, Chan. So now if you're here, you're saying to yourself, okay, I understand the idea. We're in free fall and everything's going to fall at negative 9.8 meters per second squared at the Earth. Now all I have to do is be able to figure out the problems, be able to do the math. And so I'll just try to make it simple for you. There's only two things that we're going to ask you. We're going to ask you how fast something's going or how far it has gone. And since we have two equations, one is a velocity equation and one is a distance equation, choosing the right equation is not going to be the problem. In fact, it's going to be pretty simple. It's just that we got to make sure that we always use the right numbers, that we understand what's the initial velocity, what's the final velocity, what's the acceleration, what's the time. And so if we look at our first problem, it says, what's the object speed after 4 seconds if we drop it? Okay, so they're asking us for the speed. So we know that we have to write down the speed equation. And that is that the final velocity is going to equal the initial velocity plus a times t. All right, the final velocity is that velocity right here. What is the final velocity after a certain amount of time? Vi is the initial velocity, and then a is negative 9.8. And so when we get to this problem, we just have to go, okay, well, they asked me to find the final velocity, so that's Vf. Vi, well, we're dropping it. So what's the initial velocity? Well, the initial velocity is 0. And then plus, we'll always use negative 9.8 for gravity. And then we just plug in the time that they gave us, which is 4. Okay, and so if we're always willing to write down the equation and do the math, we just have to do what's negative 9.8 times 4. And hopefully I don't make a fool of myself, but I think in my head that's negative 39.2. And then a velocity is in meters per second. All right, we'll go ahead and try these next two problems, and I'll come back to you guys for when we change things a little bit, and that is what if we're not dropping it, what if we're throwing it up?